Rhythm of Poetry, and today we're going to feel the rhythm of black music and black dance. Where did it come from? And it's good to know where the things that we listen to or do on a daily basis. It's good to know where it comes from so that we can be more appreciative about things. So I also want to talk about this book, the Common book that I've been stressing to you guys to get. Like, I really feel like this book is a very good book. It's a memoir about his life. He has great reviews from Maya Angelou, Jelani Cobb, Quincy Jones, Queen Latifah. They all gave him very positive feedback on his book because the book is it's a very inspirational book to the young people of today. And it basically, just talks about his struggle within himself, growing up as a young man and advancing into his adulthood and gaining responsibility and how he became successful. So it's a very good book to read. I want to read an excerpt from the book. I want to read his letter he wrote to Emmett Till. Not the whole letter, but I want to read part of the letter because I feel like it'll, give you guys a little preview of what to expect when you're reading the book. So I first want to start off with fun facts. So we have to turn to the handy dandy Android, because I can't record and look at the internet at the same time. But today's segment of fun facts is going to be called On This Day. And basically, On This Day is talking about what happened that is significant in the African American culture on February 5th. So the first I want to give a shout out to Natalie King Cole. I always called her that since I was younger. Her name is Natalie Cole. Natalie Cole, today's her birthday. She was born February 5th, 1950, and she is the daughter of Nat King Cole. And she's been singing since the age of 11, and in 1976, she won a Grammy for New Artist of the Year and Best Female Vocalist, R&B female vocalist. So congratulations to you, even though that was a long time ago, and I want to wish you a happy birthday and many, many more. The second fun fact I want to read to you guys is Columbia University graduate and Harvard student Barack Obama became the first African American to be named president of the Harvard Law Review. Congratulations, Obama, because not only were you named president of the Harvard Law Review, but you are now my president and the first African American president. So I want to give you a high five because you are definitely somebody that I look up to. And last but not least, I want to read one more fun fact. Let's see. I think I want to go to, let's talk about Michael Jackson. Let's talk about Michael Jackson. So just seen a fun fact that said something about Thriller that broke sales, the record sales. Where did I just see that fun fact? No. Let's not talk about that. Alright. February 7th. I know you guys saw, I'm jumping the gun. February 7th is 2 days from now. But on my status, I gave a shout out to Carter G. Woodson because he has played a positive impact on Black History Month. Because Negro History Week originally was created by Carter G. Woodson. And basically, the reason why it was like in February 7th area is because on President's Day, W.E.B. Du Bois around that time period, his birthday, and some other Black African American famous guy, his birthday was that week. So he decided to, use that week as an observance for Black History Week. But later on, we got a month. So, you know how they make the joke about us having the shortest month? But it doesn't matter because we have a lot to talk about during that month. So it was pretty cool. So those are the fun facts for today. I hope you guys learned something because I learned something. I didn't know that today was Natalie King Cole's birthday. So I learned something new today. Today I want to talk about Black music. Where did it come from? Black music to me originated, I think in the slavery times when they used to sing like the old Negro spirituals and different things like that. they used to sing all the time. They used to use these different Negro spiritual or Negro songs to like make calls across the plantations. And it's pretty interesting because that was their way of talking to each other without anybody knowing. They actually spoke in code or something like that. So that's actually pretty interesting. And later on, down like the 1800s, blues came into effect, and B.B. King and Muddy Waters, artists that were in the early 1900s and stuff like that, they use their life stories and their different life experiences, and they express their feelings and emotions through song, which was very inspirational back in the day. And then I want to jump the gun a little bit on the timeline, and I want to talk about hip-hop, because hip-hop is what I think influences our youth today, and which is why I'm wearing these glasses. These glasses were created in the 1980s, and they're called Gazelles, and they were basically very influential in the hip hop industry, in the fashion. They were worn by Run DMC, LL Cool J, artists like that, and they really were pretty stylish back in the day. So I decided to wear them to pay tribute to our show. But hip hop to me is very influential in the youth today. Back in the day when it was actually created, it was used to be a way to express yourself, a way to express your emotions on how you felt about different things. But today, I feel like hip-hop is used for other reasons, and I don't really, listen to music nowadays because it's not really as enjoyable as it was back in the day. But how hip-hop came about was African Americans did like drum calls and to dance music, and you know how when they have they used to do that with drums, and then they used the art of spoken word to communicate their emotions. So that's how like hip hop came about. And then later on, Run DMC and Public Enemy and LL Cool J, they came and played a very important role in how hip hop actually took off. And now, well, not now, but in the early 1900s when Biggie and Tupac and everybody started, and Jay-Z started to like later on down the line come and, have their own little impact on the hip-hop world, like then I felt like it started to make a change. Like hip-hop started to change like later on in like the late 1990s, right, babe? Mm-hmm. What do you think about hip-hop and how like it affects the youth today?
Oh, hip-hop, I don't know, like I said, these songs that are out here don't really talk about nothing anymore. I mean, you got auto-tunes, artists are not creative like they used to be back in the days. I think hip-hop is definitely taking a back seat.
So do you think that when hip-hop was created back in the 1970s, the way they used hip-hop before, they don't really do the same thing now? Like, it's used in a totally different way. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm trying to say?
It is.
Like, I don't know, like, I just have this thing with music. I feel like music is like a form of poetry, because without the music part, like the instruments and everything, if you listen and take the time to read the words that some artists actually write, you'll be like, wow, like, now that's an artist. Because music to me is like another form of poetry. Don't you think, babe?
It is.
Like, it's another form of poetry because it's expressing how you feel about different things. So with music, there's dance. So, there are different, like, genres of dancing. There's jazz, there's tap, there's the hip-hop break dancing. And basically, dance originated back in Africa. They used to dance for everything. They used to dance for when someone was born. They used to dance when someone was getting married. They used to dance when someone was given their right to passage. Like, like when Jewish people celebrate bar mitzvahs. Like, when people grow up and advance into adulthood, they used to dance for that. I think they used to dance when they used to cook, everything. Like, they used to dance for everything. Then they were brought over to America as slaves, and the slave owners banned dancing. They felt like, no, you cannot dance. I don't know what you was doing back in Africa, but you're not bringing that over to America. So they kind of stopped them from dancing. But as always, whenever someone tells us not to do something, we find a way to do it anyway, because that's something that we like to do, especially if it's something you like to do. You always find a way to do it anyway, especially when somebody tells you you can't do it. So they used to do like different signals and move in different ways to try to like hide the fact that they were dancing. And then later on down the line, they started to perform with the white people, and the white people used to put like black masks on their face, like makeup, to make themselves look black. And they used to like mock the black people. And black people used to dance on the stage too. But I don't think they really took offense to what they were doing, because they just wanted to display the fact that, you know, we can dance and this is what we have to offer. And then later on down the line, during the Harlem Renaissance, like theaters like Alvin Ailey, the music theater, and different schools started to like teach African American dancing, and like the Charleston and the swing and all of that stuff started to come into play. But, you know, dancing is really a way of expression as well, because, you know, ballet started to actually, you know, in the 1940s, started to play a big role in the African American culture. And like I said, that's when the Alvin Ailey and the different schools started to come to teach. The Lester Horton school started to teach. The studios, they felt like it was essential to teach African American dance, because there were so many different arts of it. And that's why, like, a lot of people, I don't care what nobody say, I feel good to be black, because we actually have such a huge history that not many people really, 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 really know about. And it's really, really good to learn about where you come from, because you want to feel proud of who you are. And how can you properly feel proud of who you are if you don't even know where you come from? So, you know, I do want to, I didn't really want to count it not robbery to, you know, share different knowledge, like different information with you guys, to, you know, get you guys familiar with what's going on around me. This is where this blog comes in, because it's like I get to share what's going on in my mind and things that I'm learning, and, you know, things that I'm doing in my life, and how our history plays a role in the different things that we do on a daily basis. So I wanted to, before we actually conclude the show, I wanted to read that Emmett Till poem that I was telling you about, that I felt like was very powerful. And it's the beginning, it's the second chapter of his book, and the chapter is called G-O-D, and it's called Gaining One's, that stands for Gaining One's Definition. And this letter is, I'm just reading the beginning part of the letter, because I don't want to really give you guys, give it away, because I want you guys to really get the book and read the book. Like, I don't want to talk about the book so much, because, like, I don't want to spoil it for you guys. So, the letter starts off as, Dear Emmett Till, it may seem funny writing to a stranger, but then again, I feel like I know you. My grade school English teacher, Mrs. Lynn, first introduced me to you and your story. When I heard about your short life and your tragic death, it scared me. It scared me because a little boy like you was a little boy like me from the south side of Chicago. How could you be a victim of such hatred and such violence? I used to stare at your picture, black and white, and you in your suit, smile as wide as can be. I'd look deep into your eyes to see what type of person you might have been. I saw someone who could have been my classmate, could have been my friend. I saw your innocence and your mischief and the goodness within you that made it hurt even more to know how you suffered. Then there was this picture of you. It's one that your mother had the courage to share. Let the world see what I've seen, she said. Your face is bloated, almost unrecognizable. Your soft, handsome features have melted into a death mask. That face haunted me in my dreams. Could this even be the same boy? Your story stayed with me. I could feel your spirit, like you were right there, telling me to do the things there wasn't time for you to do. When I was a ball boy for the Bulls basketball team, I would travel in this tunnel under the old Chicago Stadium. I would always get scared because I would think you were in the darkness. I remember finally talking to you, and I know you told me to be strong and do something with my life. Do something that will have purpose. Do something that will be powerful, I heard you say. I know I met you, and I still feel that responsibility to be something in my life. I looked at it like I have to live for you and for all the other sons and all the other daughters who lost their lives in the struggle for black liberation. Here I was, a young black boy from the south side of Chicago, just like you. You gave my life more value. You lost your life to senseless violence. You made me appreciate my life and want to be a greater human being. And I want to stop there because I don't want to read the whole letter. But as you can hear, that letter played a significant role in his life. Like, he talked about how Emmett Till, how Emmett Till played a significant role in his life. Even though he's never met him, and even though he just probably doesn't even know a lot about his life, he can only imagine. And he's like, your death, it was very unfortunate because it was to senseless violence. To think that that's the way that we were treated back